What's up, guys? Let's talk about ENTJ versus ESTP. Very clear differences between the types. You'll see videos obviously talking about this combination, right? Comparing those two types. And usually it's always people kind of going in detail, spending 40 minutes discussing it and talking about like FI inferior and FE tertiary and whatever God knows what. None of those there's no there's absolutely no reason to use inferior functions or tertiary functions as a way to justify to compare types, especially when they are so different with their dominant function. Your dominant function is responsible for the perception of reality. How you handle reality, how you basically deal with it and see it, that's literally your dominant function. Okay, it's not going to be your tertiary. So people sometimes saying, well, my tertiary is so good, it gets confused. Absolutely not. Tertiary doesn't mean shit. Like, no. So your dominant is the most important, right? So let's get into it. Obviously, when it comes to ENTJs, people have this idea that, okay, it's all about efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. It's not true. That's actually very not true. The reality is that if you read Jung's work when it comes to extroverted thinking, you clearly see that it's basically an individual who creates his own standards and his own intellectual formula that he then wants to apply into the real world. And he wants to make sure that things actually align with said formula. Okay? So basically, the person who has standards and he uses the standards to judge everything, either correct, incorrect, valuable, unvaluable, or, high status, low status, pure, impure, fucking what's good, what's bad, anything. Okay, so basically, this individual has such strict standards. They are, and they most importantly want to live up to those standards, right? So whatever those standards are, they want to live up to those standards. And so it also creates a person who is way more meticulous, way more uh, again more tolerant of sacrificing pleasure or sacrificing kind of being in a moment and just chilling and doing whatever the fuck you want for productivity or for creating order, because that's what it is, right? It's an extroverted thinking that and it wants to instill order on the environment according to that kind of formula. So this individual will indeed be quite ordered in how they approach life, and they will want to live up to their standards. So it will create a somewhat try-hard individual. Um, and extroverted thinking type is going to be present in both Enneagram 3 and Enneagram 1. So you can see like what are the some of the kind of similarities that they share together is literally that standards. Obviously those standards differ between Enneagram 1 and Enneagram 3, but standards is what they both share, right? So 3 is one's excellence, right? Standards of perfection, standards of like no, not perfection, standards of excelling, being more competent, and becoming worthy and becoming amazing and succeeding and achieving. So all of that is going to kind of focus in that direction. So that's literally it, guys. That's what you need to understand about extroverted thinking. Okay, standards, rules, okay, intellectual formula. People keep focusing on this like efficiency thing, but that's not going to help you telling the difference at all. Now, when it comes to ESTPs, people have a certain skewed idea of what they are, how they manifest. Obviously, they imagine this guy who is a very tolerant individual who will accept anything in his path and super easygoing, who loves to party, loves people, charming and shit. That's not the case. Since, as we know, there are different variations of MBTI types, aka Socionics, that is not the case at all. So, what we know is that extroverted sensation perceives the world for what it is. Plain and motherfucking simple, right? It just looks at the world for what it actually is. What it's spade is a spade. That's it. That's it. There's no. Unlike extroverted thinking, it's not concerned about applying any rules. You know, they don't really live like that. So we see what are the differences. So we see again being much more action oriented, being much more in sync with the present moment, focusing on what is tangible, creating a very hyper realistic individual, you know, hyper grounded individual who really perceives the world without any additional filters. Focus on objectivity, focus on a very practical individual who can deal with factual information very well without really filtering shit, right? So that obviously really that's what it does. And being quite in the moment and really capturing the moment and taking the most out of it. That's really the core of the function. But way more adaptable, much more easygoing compared to the extroverted thinking variant. Again, it's more uninhibited. It does not sacrifice pleasure for rule set, right? That's not the mentality of an ESTP. So people keep thinking those types are different, and I even talked to my friend Amir today about, and we kind of he laughed in an FU polar way, and kind of said there's nothing similar. And of course, people, maybe people might feel okay, nothing similar is kind of an exaggeration, but if you really think about it, they completely have a different, absolutely different approach to life. So yes, they pretty much have nothing in common, right? So that's all you guys fucking need. Once you understand the and an ENTJ is going to be much more hardworking. An ENTJ is going to be much more concerned about applying his idealism, his kind of vision, his pursuit of excellence, either that or pursuit of any rules and of perfection, anything. Okay, he is going to put in effort and spend a lot of time pursuing that. That's not the case with an ESTP. Okay, so completely different. An ESTP is going to be much more relaxed and easygoing. Now, not to mistake it, okay? Because ESTPs have less of a fucking stick up their ass, but they can still be, as as SLEs, can be structured in a way that people wouldn't expect it, and very systematic. Okay, so if don't assume just because someone is making a basic fucking plan, or someone is actually capable of understanding systems in a very good way, that they cannot be ESTP, or that they must be in ENTJ, that they can kind of deal with such pragmatic with logic, and that's not the case at all. So it's kind of like going around and saying Tyler Durden is a fucking ENTP. That's literally it, because an ESTP could never plan, and that's the problem with this perception of ESTPs. you know so an ESTP can easily do that, but again, there's this dichotomy of being SE dominant and NI inferior, so it makes them very grounded. While on the other hand, ENTJs, many of them are geeks, like legitimate geeks, like nerds of the highest order, and they can again be much more intuitive, much more abstract in that sense. An ESTP is going to be a grounded and realistic person, while ENTJ can be quite idealistic, very idealistic, and kind of trying to uh, apply that idealism in the real world. That might also happen. With ESTP, there's going to be almost this hyper focus on realism, but almost like an attraction to that other part, which is the NI. There's going to be attraction to something beyond, something mystical, something unknown. But that's not again, that's an attraction to it and clear value of it. But don't think that they're gonna be fucking idealists at heart. Okay, that's not really how it's gonna work for them. So that's really it, guys. No FI, no FE, none of that shit. Simply your dominant function. Those two types are extremely different. As I said, rule oriented, standards, they dedicate their life to those standards, either being a 3 core or a 1 core. They will do it. Sacrifice pleasure, deal with routine very well, even if it's strict. Plan, be methodical. ESTP, extroverted sensation, not the case at all. More adaptable, more decisive in the moment, more likely to be action oriented for the sake of action, because that's what SE would be. Enjoying the thrill of something, fight. You go around, you enjoy the process of the fight rather than, okay, I'm gonna fight because I'm gonna get a result this, that result too, so I can jerk myself off later. Not the case. It's the thrill of it that really matters, that really brings enjoyment, really capturing the essence of the moment for the ESTP. So I think that's it. Again, no complications. Focus on the fucking first. Is this person sweaty? Are they a tryhard? Yes, they can't relax and chill because, well, I'm always needing to be great. Then yeah, there you go, extrovert thinking. Are they more chill? You know, are they more adaptable? Is their lifestyle that of a person who really knows how to enjoy the moment, even in a way where some of them different aspects might suffer? That's kind of there you go. That's all you fucking need to know. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If anything, obviously write down in your comments, and that's it. So see you.